We should just do that at the start. Boo! No scadgies. As promised, this week, it's all about scran.
Scran.
Food. It's all about scran. Scranning it. Food, food habits, and or lifestyle choice. Is it the same thing? Is it the same thing or is it something different? So we've spoken about this a lot over the year. We both had our weight challenges. I'm currently going through one, so you can see with me little. Look at his face. Look at his little face.
Yeah, you've just made me think about a question that was on the chase during the week there, and it was where would you store uncooked meat? Would you store it in the pantry, the larder, or the scullery?
It wouldn't be a scullery for a start.
And it just got me reflecting massively back when I was a kid.
Hold on a minute. A pantry and a larder are technically the same thing, aren't they? Or is a pantry a room and a larder's the... Neither of them are refrigerated.
No, I just remember me nana saying, "Gan in the scullery and get,
Scullery?
Scullery?
I thought a scullery was like a study.
No, the scullery was a slang word for kitchen.
Was it?
And yeah,
it's the first time I've heard that in my life.
And when I knew the answer, and actually the chase made total sense of it. So what was the other two places I said?
Pantry, larder.
And right, the second one. What is that word made up of?
Lard. Right, is that where it comes from?
Yeah, it's the larder.
So it's another word for the fattery.
Yes. Yeah. And but for some reason I got it in my head that there were Geordie slang words.
Scullery. Scullery's posh in my mind.
Yeah.
So if your mum used to tell you to go to the scullery, I'm thinking, how posh is your mum?
Yeah, well, it was me nana because she.
Oh, your nana.
Yeah, she lived in an old mining house, and they had scullery, which is the kitchen. They had a larder, which was where they kept the food, and the pantry. Pantry. I'm struggling in the pantry really, but I think it's something to do with
trousers. Keep my trousers in the pantry. I keep all my skulls. I keep all my skulls in the scullery.
Yeah.
And then I keep blocks of fat in the larder.
She had the coal house as well, but they didn't keep the meat in the coal house.
Although my granddad had a Skoda, not a larder.
Me.
There.
But yeah, it was a good foodie question.
Oh, yeah. It is a good foodie question.
But it was a
good show that.
Yeah, I have to say I really enjoy it when it's on. But going sort of last week we did a little bit about, like you say, a bit about drink, and
yes.
A lot of people, I talked to a few people in my family, a few people talking about losing a few pounds over the next period. Maybe we've indulged a little bit over the Christmas period. I had a few mince pies and had some selection boxes. Yeah.
As you do.
But the bit that sort of gets me is that there was a stat out this week that most people will have fell off the wagon in terms of their, what is it called? With New Year's resolutions, will have fell off them by the 8th of January. So
that's
whether that's
it.
Yeah, it is. Basically you've started on the 4th and finished by the 8th.
Yeah. Well, it depends on where Monday falls, doesn't it?
Exactly. If New Year's it starts on a Monday, well, there's no point in starting until the following weekend, is there?
Well, you might as well. You cannot start on New Year's Day.
New
Year's Day is a Monday, so it's got to be next Monday, isn't it?
Right, yeah,
it's got to be next Monday.
And then it got me thinking about how many of us are. We realised in a short period of time across Christmas that we put quite a bit of weight on, and now our mindset is in the same short game that we need to lose that weight in the shortest possible time. So we're now, as I have to be careful here because this is where I would swear now. My mother's listening, so we're all going to drink our shakes and we're going to drink a cup of beetroot in our own way. Yeah, to lose 2 stone in a week. I would have used a different word for "we," but Mum's listening. So,
Aye.
so,
You've been told off once.
and I can, me and my Mum are good examples of this. We are long term strategists in terms of weight loss.
So a lifestyle change rather than a temporary change of diet.
Yeah, we we discussed it before. A good number that would be used to use weight loss in a week. You know that number, don't you?
Yeah, I aimed for 1.5 pound, but realistically, it averaged out at about one, because some weeks it was like a half, some weeks it was 1.5. Really depend on what I'd done that week, how active I'd been. Even I noticed how what I ate, combinations of things I ate, and how they because I was tracking it as well. You know me, I stuck it all on the graph. So I was watching it, and occasionally sort of flatlined a bit. And I thought, what did I do then? And I mean, one of them was mayonnaise. I just took mayonnaise entirely out of my diet at one point because I just flatlined. I was like, I'm only but halfway through my goal, and I realised that it was the baked potatoes. I was having baked potatoes with tuna mayo and whatnot. I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna have beans and something else. So I should make beans and corned beef or something, like make a hash or something and pour that on, or even make like a bolognese and put that on. But I took mayonnaise out of the equation, plummeted.
Well,
It was the one thing. It was the one thing that was sort of affecting. I didn't realise it's just empty. It's empty calories, isn't it? Absolutely empty calories.
Most of us
A
don't.
teaspoon is ridiculous.
We don't know what we're putting in our mouth in terms of calories, do we?
No, from then on, I still these days do. Before I buy anything I don't know, I read the back. I read every jar, every packet, every tin, just to get a rough idea. If I won't just buy something because it's on special, I'll look and go, hold on a minute. I know this is a quid cheaper, but let's have a look. Bloody hell, that's 150 calories more. I'm not having that. Nah, I'll go for someone else. Yeah. You're surprised, like all these fat-free ones, how much sugar they've got in. Because you take all the fat out, you take all the flavour out, so you've got to put something else in.
Yeah. Look, these signs that say 0% fat, and they're just full of sugar, aren't they?
Oh yeah, you look at the back. Sugar content. Yeah. Like, Jesus, and that's per 100 grams.
Low in sugar, high in fat.
Yeah, you're swapping another empty calorie for another empty calorie.
Yeah.
Right.
I came up with a bit of an analogy. So let's just take Christmas. Christmas is quite an expensive time in terms of money. So, and I was talking to my dad this morning about, they were out last night in the town, and I expected it to be quiet because we've spent a lot of money over Christmas and we're short of money. We look at our bank balance on the 2nd of January and we go, right, I'm not going out this weekend because I ain't got a lot of money. Weight is exactly the same principle as a bank account. Yeah? So if you spend the money in terms of eating it, you somehow have to pay it back, don't you? Otherwise you're going to put weight on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. So if you just keep cramming it all in, then you're going to have to expend it somewhere, right?
When you look at a bank balance on the 2nd of January and you say, right, I can't go out this weekend, I have not got enough money, that should be in terms of the same thinking in terms of weight. I've had a good weekend, I've eaten this, drank that. Now I need to pay that back. Because if you don't, you're just, very slowly and very methodically that weight's going to go on, isn't it?
When I first, because I changed my life for about 3.5 years. It was pandemic, change of jobs, stuck in the house, all of that. I kind of let it just go to the wind, right? And I shouldn't have. I should have kept up my steps and all of that. But at the time when I first sort of engaged with it and went, right, this is it for real, and this isn't about a diet. This is about changing what I eat, my relationship with food, because I had a bit of an emotional connection there. And I realised that, my younger brother can eat more than me. He's a proper grazer. He doesn't often sit down for a meal. He's constantly in the biscuit tin. He's constantly in the cupboard, just looking for stuff all over the place. And you know what Kelsey's like. She regularly eats her own body weight in food and doesn't show it. But she's
active.
She's got ants in her pants, right? She never sits still, right? And I look around at some of these people that don't gain weight, no matter what they do, right? So it made me think, what if I treat weight gain or calories, more specifically, like an allergy? My body's unable to process them the same way that some other people are. So if I treat it like I'm allergic to calories, that unless I'm willing to drastically change my amount of activity, I don't burn them. My metabolism just isn't the same as anyone else's. So I can't get away with, Joe Blogs, the way he barely has to move and he can still smash his face into that thing he's just been eating and get away with it. I can't. Now, if you were allergic to nuts or gluten or something else, you wouldn't just keep eating it, would you? So I thought, right, well, if I treat calories like something that my body's not good with, maybe that's a good approach. In 3.5 years, and I got nearly 4 stone off in that time and kept it off. It wobbled. I must admit, it did wobble up and down 2 or 3 pounds. But do you know what? I was happy. I was happy that I was in the range that I was in, and I didn't mind that little bit of a wobble because it quite often came back down and it maybe went back up. Then, of course, you've got fluid to account for, which is the other thing at the start of a diet, isn't it? I've lost half a pound. I've lost half a stone. Do you know how much of that was water?
Yeah, I had this discussion with Robin, because I think was the 1st or 2nd of Jan was a Monday, Tuesday, wasn't it? So, Robin was like, "What was your damage in terms of weight gain for Christmas?" And I said, this was on the Monday or the Tuesday we were having this discussion. I said, "I haven't weighed myself yet." And she said, "All right, what for?" I said, "Well, I won't weigh myself till about Friday or Saturday, because the first few days on my diet is pure water loss. So because I'm eating properly, I'm going to lose all that water." So
yeah, you're eating properly, you're drinking properly, so your body just gets rid of it, doesn't it?
So it's a fake number. So I didn't actually weigh myself until the Friday, and of course, as you're going through the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I sensed myself going to the toilet a lot more, as it's coming
As
out.
you do, yeah.
And unfortunately, going to these famous places, in the first week, you would expect to see a significant weight loss in the first week. If you haven't, then there's something wrong, and you're not putting it in. And I would say here, it's probably a good point to say that where Peter Kay would describe Weight Watchers and Slimmers World, the only difference is about £1 in cost. One's cheaper than the other, go to whatever works for you. Whether it's keto, Slimmers World, Weight Watchers, 5 on, 2 off. It doesn't matter. As if it works for you, it works.
The important thing is to have a thing, isn't it? It's to have a habit. Yeah.
And to be consistent, with that thing. But unfortunately, a lot of people, they'll turn up at Slimmers World on a Friday, and then they'll have their cheat day. But their cheat day involves having 7,000 calories. So you've killed the rest of the week.
Yeah, and that only serves to spoil your motivation, doesn't it? At the end of the day, because you then go, "Oh, I might as well not bother."
Yeah, because we're fixated. We get fixated on cheat days, and it was one of the things that my trainer said to me. He says, "I don't want you to call them that. Stop calling them cheat days. They're just, he said, even if you call it off plan or whatever, just know what you're doing, and be accountable for that day, and try and know what you're putting in your mouth. So if you're having a Chinese, account for it, and say I've had half a ton of Chinese. So when you go into your sins spelt with a what, Simon? How do we spell sin?
With a Y.
Do we? All right.
Spelled with a Y. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we don't want
Apparently,
a religious
yeah.
connotation there, do we?
No, we don't. We
Yeah.
don't.
So if you
No.
if you've eaten that on a Friday, then your sins will be accounted for the rest of the week, won't they? Basically.
They
Whatever
should.
you.
They should be, because like you said, it's all right to do it as long as you accept that you're going to be paying that back, or
Yeah.
you're going to be paying it off.
And
So
all,
you've got to take into account or be accountable for setting yourself back.
and all of
Right.
them, although there might be a little bit of controversy in the way Weight Watchers and Slimmers World approach sort of potatoes and rice and bread, particularly potatoes and rice, that they say you can eat as much as you like. But it doesn't matter. The principle is still the same with any diet. It's about maths, isn't it? There are no bad diets, only bad maths.
Yes.
And
Yeah, technically, yeah.
if your base metabolic rate, you sort of touched on that before. Base metabolic
Yes.
rate is about 2,000 calories a day, right? Now
Yeah,
we're
my scales measure all that. I think mine was something like 2,200 or 2,400, something like that.
yeah. So at base level, we're all at about 2,000, give or take.
Yeah, about that.
Now,
Yeah,
at the minute you are based working from home like that. I am working in a different environment. I'm physical at the moment, so I am burning a lot of calories in terms of my base metabolic rate. So I can eat more than maybe you can because I'm burning a lot more.
Oh yeah,
So
your balance sheet looks different to mine. So if we both want to get to
really,
net to an a net balance of zero,
yeah,
it's entirely different. You can perhaps go to 3,500, 4,000. I can not get much beyond my 2,500 thereabouts. You might be able to even push it if you've done a shed load of plastering that day. You could legitimately go home and you go, do you know what? I'm going to have that other biscuit.
yeah. But
Because you're still, you could end up, you probably regularly end up in negative.
yeah, and actually the way I do it is I just push myself a little bit in terms of sort of I accept that the deficit of extra exercise doing what I'm doing allows me to that's my weight loss. So I push my base calories to 2 whatever it is. So I'm having 200 calories a day more, but I'm working hard, so therefore I'm still getting a weight loss. And it's just juggling the maths. If you go 2 times 4, it's 8, isn't it? If you go 4 times 2, it's still 8. We're just playing with the numbers in a different way, and that's what a lot of this comes down to. But I used to use this analogy a few years ago in terms of how we look after ourselves and how people spend so much time with their makeup, how much time they spend with their hair looking after themselves, and then there's the women, of course, and
Yeah, I know.
and the basic one is like most people brush their teeth once or twice a day, yeah. And why do we brush our teeth? Because we don't want them to fall out, because we want to look after them. So we're prepared to look after our teeth, but we're not prepared to look after our bodies. And I was just like, that blows my mind. So we will look after our teeth, but we will not look after this thing that allows us to get to 90 or 100 years old, and we'll abuse it constantly, And I was
Oh
just
yeah, but but you'll have good eyelashes on your way there though.
yeah.
Good eyelashes and extensions,
You can
all of that.
flick the coffin up with your eyelashes, couldn't you? Just give it
Aye.
a flash, And when
Aye.
when you drop down from a heart attack, don't worry, you look beautiful. It's great, You've got perfect makeup, But and I mean, I've had to go through that evolution from being in denial, understanding what a protein, fat, and a carbohydrate is. And I'm not going to go into that. It's just bore the crap out of everybody. But knowing that basically all of our calories are made up of those 3 elements.
That's basically all. It's basically all you need, though, isn't it? Is the number, like how many calories can you burn, and how many calories are you putting in, and is the balance above, equal, or below? right?
80%.
So do you come out as a negative, a positive, or equal?
Yeah.
That's really only count what you've just eaten by looking on the back. Yes, it might involve you having to weigh stuff, and I just got into the habit. I still do.
Well,
I still do weigh some things. So
some people say to me, how can you be bothered, Mark, to weigh all that stuff? Me and my mother, we're constantly weighing.
yeah,
Okay,
I
right.
did. I
Do
weighed everything.
yeah. Do you know what direct debits are going out each month? Do you account for those direct debits? Do you look at that bank account and do you say, got to be careful this month? Well, that's basically what we're doing. We're just looking at the numbers and we're saying, right, okay, I can have 30 or 40 grams of oats today, but and what's fascinating is that it becomes normal, so
It did for me. I did it for 3.5 years and didn't bat an eyelid. It felt weird.
so
But
I
eventually it felt like spending. Like, right, what can I spend? I've got this much to spend. How much is this meal worth?
anybody that wants to go through weight loss and says they haven't got enough time to weigh anything, go on your phone, find out there's a place on your phone that you can find out how much time you spend on social media, right? Then
Yes,
tell
there
me you
is,
don't
yeah.
have enough time.
I get a daily activity report. It's usually empty because I don't really spend time on
Yeah,
that sort of thing. But there was also an app, MyFitnessPal, where you can
yeah.
scan a barcode and it'll tell you per 100 grams this many calories. So how much of it have you had? It'll even you could even boil it down to, you could weigh one biscuit, take an average, right? Just weigh a biscuit and just type into MyFitnessPal, I've had 3 biscuits,
It's
and
hard
it'll
to
tell
say
you
on
how.
mine. You got to get the angle right, but you can see that's mine from yesterday. And you got little pictures of all the things I ate yesterday,
Yeah,
bananas and oats, and at the end of the
yeah,
day, I had
it worked. It worked for me, and then I got my scales has an app that plugs in and transfers that weight data into and it's one of those body mass things where it'll do me water, bone mass, and all that other stuff. Chuck that into MyFitnessPal, so I would then track my weight on a graph, and I could then track that against how much I'd stuck to me calorie intake, and I set it a goal of 1,500, and eventually my body got so used to it that I didn't really. I must admit, I was used to just putting stuff in my gob to begin with, but eventually got used to this 1,500 calorie diet that I quite often had a couple of hundred spare,
yeah,
which maybe isn't that healthy. I was on 1,300. So what I started doing was I had a curry Thursday because quite often I was underspending my calories. So I went, you know what, I'm gonna have me curry Thursday. So it broke up the week, and that kept it interesting. So I had this curry every week, and I kind of enjoyed it, and I knew I could enjoy it more because it wasn't costing me anything
yeah.
in terms of calories. I wasn't undoing any of my good work. I was just filling a blank that was already there and just added a few more calories in, thinking I can totally afford to eat this and not feel at all bad about it, which was much better than looking forward to that cake and then feeling the guilt after eating it. I had no guilt after eating that. I just thoroughly enjoyed it, knowing I can afford this because I've got it. It's in me balance. It's all in there. But even then, I still only went to roughly 1,600. So I only went just a little bit over. I was still careful, but I enjoyed being careful, and I felt like for one of the few times in my life I was actually taking proper care of
I would love.
myself, and I was learning something about food. And I think you might scare yourself with the stuff that's on the label in the back.
Yeah,
You might be
definitely.
surprised.
When you get it, we've done an episode on people how they perceive time, and that is just
Yes.
something that came to my mind. If you're an in time person or a through time person, now through time people tend to plan. Now I'm a planner, therefore the people who say I'm mundane and I don't mind eating the same thing for breakfast, lunch, and tea. I don't mind it. You know why? Because now I don't have
I
to
don't.
think about it. And that means on a Friday. So Friday when I came home, we had a Chinese. I didn't even have to worry about it. I counted for it, but I didn't have to worry about it because during the week, hard graft, same, and the plan. So when I finish after today, I'll go and sort of do a bit of food prep for the next week, and I'm eating what I'm eating, and it just makes it easier. Because what happens is, if you don't plan, you then go in search of the crap, yeah, because it's now convenient and it's sat there. So, oh right, there's still this was a caramel barrel in the Quality Street. It's still there from Christmas. I might as well just go and get that because it's there. I know it's there, so I'm just going to go and get it. Or there's a half packet of shortbread biscuits. Well, I might as well just have 2 or 3 of them because I haven't planned anything. I might as well just have them, and that's where the danger is.
That's how I ended up back where I am.
Yeah,
I broke some of my habits, and
there's a guy. I don't know
before
if you
know
know
it.
him, but one of the really good examples that I like is a guy called Greg Wallace. And Greg Wallace, for years, has done MasterChef.
Yeah,
Bald-headed bloke was
yeah.
overweight, and he's
Because
very,
he likes his food, and
yeah, very, very simple method. And when I've seen a few articles on him, and what he said was he just stopped eating takeaways, and he doesn't snack in between meals. So he has 3 meals a day, but he has what he wants for those 3 meals a day. But he doesn't snack, and he doesn't have takeaways, and that's a very, very simple diet. If you think about the amount of times we snack in between meals, was it subconsciously? We don't even realize we've done it. We've picked something up.
yeah, unconsciously, you'll just pick up that biscuit.
Yeah, and he lost
Because it's only
a lot
one
of-
biscuit, though, Mark. It's only one. It's just the
only
one
one.
biscuit.
It's just
It
one.
might it might be 180 calories, but
Yeah, especially if it's shortbread. It's just butter, flour, and sugar.
oh yeah, it's basically fat in it. So
Yeah.
I mean, it may, it's only the one, though, Mark. It's only
Yeah.
the one shortbread finger. It is nearly 300 calories of the 1,500 I'm allowed today, but it's only the
Yeah,
one.
and that's an interesting one. That one, and where a lot of people seem to struggle. This thing about we're being taught to have breakfast, dinner, and tea, haven't we? And
Sometimes supper as well.
supper as well. Oh, supper as well. Yeah, supper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the bit about breakfast, and some people swear by having breakfast. The bit that it gets me is that as soon as I start eating, my metabolism kicks in. Yeah. So it's off and running. Now, now, and if you start the day off with some crap, like some cereal and some full-fat milk, those high-processed carbohydrates very quickly afterwards are going to kick in, and you're going to feel pretty hungry an hour or 2 afterwards. Now you want something else. Yeah.
It's exactly what my dad eats every day.
Yeah.
Every day, and he's got this sugar thing going on at the minute where he just can't seem to get his hands on enough of it. And I was trying to tell my mum how he's dragging his feet a bit at the minute. I said, do you realise that all of the complex carbohydrate stuff he's eating at the minute is probably swelling out his joints?
Yeah.
Has he considered that? Maybe it's just cutting that out and having toast in the morning, or something else.
It's a good point in terms of the swelling, and maybe we should touch on that in terms of what these processed carbohydrates do to inflammation, swelling of the joints. And I think we had it off camera where I had eaten that much crap during Christmas that when I went back to work, I really struggled for the first 3 or 4 days in terms of getting up, moving. Now I'm back to, I'm not eating crap, and I'm back to it. My movement's great, my swelling's gone down, and my bones feel pretty good. And that's what it does to you. But when we get into the first meal of the day, it should contain some good carbohydrates like slow-releasing oats and some protein in it, and that is going to stop you getting those mid-morning snack attack.
Yeah, because protein can be a bit of a filler, can't it? And it's not easily processed.
Robin asked me. She says, I think I'm just going to have some protein shakes, and I was like, just don't rely on protein shakes. I'm like, I made a overnight oats. My mum has overnight. I made overnight oats with a little bit of fruit in it and 10 grams of protein powder, And the protein powder, although it's not for everybody, the protein powder allows me to get over that hill of the mid-morning snack attack. Yeah. So now I'm into lunch without getting those anger burns in your stomach because you've got
Aye.
carbohydrates and protein in your system. Yeah. And that's why people recommend having eggs for breakfast. Boiled eggs.
That's exactly what I heard when I started was and I started having egg sandwiches in the morning just as a as I do. Just whipping them up in a cup, pouring them in, and it was surprising how full I felt for how long I felt, like I didn't feel like wanting something to eat. How long I felt like I'd not full but not hungry. And they're a great thing for weight loss. I don't know where the hell I read that tip,
Yeah.
but it was for that very same reason that it just takes a long time for your body to crunch through them.
Yeah, we sort of
Burn them
skirted over the bit about breakfast as well. Don't stick to if possible, this thing that we've been taught since we were a kid that we have to have breakfast at 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning. We should be eating when we're hungry. Is that right? Not just because somebody's taught us to eat.
Yeah, and I was often taught back in the day that you shouldn't drink when you're thirsty. You need to drink before you're thirsty because by that time, it's the same as shopping when you're hungry. You're going to buy more things than because your body's going to be going calories, 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 calories. It's the same with thirst. You should always try and preempt the thirst and not let yourself get famished. But you should only eat once. You go, oh, you know what it is? It's about time for tea. About time for tea. Let's go make something.
What was the analogy you did during the week on putting the drink on your plate?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah. This is why I thought I'd text you because I thought I'm bound to forget to mention this in the stream. It was when we were talking about alcohol, wasn't it? And I said if alcohol came on a plate as something to eat, and you had to take a dump every 7 pints instead of a wee, I didn't use the W word, but instead of a wee, would it change our perspective on drinking? Like if a session meant you were going to take, you were going to have 3 dumps while you were out, and you had to get a knife and fork out every time you got another pint.
Yep.
Would it be the same? Because it's too easy to hoy a pint of fluid down your neck, isn't it? But if it was a food on a plate,
well, exactly.
would it be
Nobody on Friday or Saturday in the town was drinking 7 pints of water and happily going to the toilet every 5 minutes, were they? They weren't doing that.
No. Like I said, you wouldn't drink 7 pints of orange, would you?
No,
you just wouldn't.
No,
it's because it's got drugs in it. That's why you're having it. So
yeah. The other bit I did was I went back. I've probably mentioned this before. It costs you money to put weight on. And it tends to be the crap that costs the money, doesn't it? Whether it's takeaways, whether it's chips, whether it's fries, whether it's crisps, whether it's chocolate, it costs money to put weight on. And I went back over my numbers.
Does.
I went back over.
Yeah, crisp analogy was a good one.
Yeah, I've got.
That really surprised me.
Yeah,
when you read that, because it made sense when you said it.
A 30-gram pack of Walkers is approximately 200 calories, which is a pound per packet. So that's £16.50. Yeah, to put £2 on a week would cost you 33 quid a week or 120 quid a month. Now reverse that analogy. So it costs you 120 quid to put £2 on. Yeah, over your calories that you would normally eat. Yeah. Yes. Now reverse that scenario. Now we want to lose £2 a week. We're going to save 120 quid a month on not putting crap in our mouth. So in a time where we, in January we need to save a few quid and we need to save towards Easter. I'm not suggesting we should be saving towards eating Cadbury's cream eggs, but
No, but dieting. Now's the time to do it, or at least attempting going on your weight loss plan. Or changing your lifestyle, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
Now's the time because it will literally save you money.
It will.
You're not eating the cash, are you?
and I'm not going to get into that thing about the poorer end of the scale, and we can't afford to go to Chippy anymore because we haven't got enough money. Well, stop cooking with lard and put some jagged potatoes on. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah. You immediately take out a whole bunch of useless calories because you're not cooking it in something that is all calories.
yeah,
Instead, you're going to bake it. So even if you had the same quantity of potato, the fact that you're not frying it, you're baking it instead, you've immediately counted out a couple hundred calories, maybe more, in the cooking process. Mind you, you'll then hire a block of Lurpak on it though, wouldn't you? So
yeah. The problem, block of alert pack, yeah, or half a pound of ketchup and three slices of bread, to go with it. But again, going back to it, we're all in the short term, and then life gets in the way, and somebody turns up on the weekend and says, "Oh, do you fancy going out, or do you fancy meeting and having some food?" And we all say yes, or going out and not having that high calorie food. Because I think when we look towards Easter, and we just said, we potentially, depending on how much we want to lose, we could be, it's 10, 12 weeks away. It's 31st, Easter Sunday is the 31st of March, I think. And creating a little bit of a reward system. I know I said cream eggs, but that's a bit of fun. But if you want a new pair of shoes, or you want a weekend away, or you want to do something nice for the family, getting ready for Easter, set yourself a little goal in your head in terms of where you want to be, and focus on that goal. We're not focused on the end of this week. We're focused on March. But that means about being accountable multiple times during that period. You can't just say, "Well, I'm going to start it on the 28th of March and expect to lose a stone in 2 days." It don't work that way. So this is...
You could even plan to stick a quid in a jar every time you were going to eat a biscuit or eat that packet of crisps.
Exactly.
So still pay for it. Just put the money in a jar.
Yeah, or as we did that. If you lose a pound, you've saved £16.50 on the crisp analogy. So put £16.50 in a jar on your Friday, and then at the end of it, you've got 133 quid in a month. So based on 3 months losing a stone, you're going to have what, 360 quid in your little jar. That's
of calories you didn't eat.
Of calories you didn't eat, and you saved by. And I know we're simplifying the number here, but
but you've lost weight and saved money.
Yeah, and then enjoy Easter, feeling better, walking better, moving better, looking better, rather than well, we've had Christmas. I'm going to try it for a week. It didn't work. Now I'm at this weight. Right, we're going to next Christmas. I'm still the same weight. Now I'm going to enjoy Christmas, and I'm going to try and do that thing again in January. That didn't work, and now all that happens is the scale just goes like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, over time, Over time, it's just a linear trend upwards.
Yeah, and you won't live. Let's be brutal. You won't live to be the number you want to get to. It won't happen. Because you get hit with diabetes, you'll get hit with all sorts of ailments related to weight.
Oh, yeah. I'm determined not to end up with the situation my dad's in, and now my older brother's in. I'm next in line. They're both on CPAP machines. They're statins and God knows what else. So they're having to wear a mask to go to bed at night because of sleep apnea and all of that. I don't want to end up in that situation. So at the minute, I've got room to fix it. So that's one of my. Once I'm less variable work-wise and a bit more stable there, and I can take that off my mind, this is next on my list. I need to get back into that old habit I had, in a way that I'm not going to keep dipping in and out of it or throwing it away or getting fed up with it. I want to get back and have an honest go at it. So once I've stabilise some other things in my life, that's very next on my list, is get back those steps, start obsessing like I did over my own weight loss stats and calorie stats, and get back on MyFitnessPal and get back into that habit, because there was a certain level of enjoyment in it for me, and the amount of stuff I learned about food I'll never forget.
Well, that's the
I
bit.
forget, and you need to know what you're putting in. I couldn't believe what was in some of the stuff that used to be my favourite bits and pieces. I can't believe how much stuff's in that.
You educate
How much
yourself
sugar's
along
in
the
that.
way, and that's
Oh, it was
that's the bit.
unbelievable.
Educate yourself about yourself.
Mm.
I forgot a number, which was that 3,300 calories in a pound of weight. So you got to be eating some calories to put weight on.
True.
You got to be You got to be scoffing. You got to be in the scullery,
Scoffing.
or the
Scullery, yeah.
you've got to be in the scullery or the pantry or the larder to put weight on, haven't you?
Way aye. You gotta have your face in something.
Yeah.
I think I know this because I can remember those biscuits I've had. I can remember that extra sausage roll I had. I can remember, maybe as if we all had eidetic memories. We all had this photographic memory of stuff. We could walk back everything we've eaten, walk back through and go, aye, it's only me. It's only me to blame for that. But the fact that our memories are all so foggy,
Yeah, I think
it's easy to not pay attention.
Don't be afraid of enjoying yourself. That's part of life. But just be aware that I learned this. I did accounts when I was 15 at school. For every credit there's a debit, and for every debit there's a credit. And so you have that. You've got to pay it back somehow, haven't you?
There's a ledger, yeah.
Yeah. There's a
Yeah. There is. There's a calorie ledger, and it's not like me, ma'am. I'm cutting out bread. No. No, look. When I went through my process, I didn't cut a single thing out in the beginning. All I did was measure how much of it I had.
Yeah.
And I knew if I wanted to go to Greg's, that screws me for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Go to Greg's.
The moment I've been to Greg's and I've had 1,300 calories in these 2 steak bakes, I've left myself with a margin of 2 for the rest of the day. Or exercise to gain some of those calories back. So I've either got to burn my way back, but either way there is a cost. And this is when my mum, "Oh, you're coming out? We're going to go across the road, and they've got this deal on. Your dad's got a voucher." So I'd end up getting this burger and chips with. And I knew that if I got the one that had the bacon and the cheese, I'm like, well, if I'm getting that, then I'm not having supper or anything when I get back. I can't have like a cheeky sandwich later on tonight.
No.
Can't have that. Unless I'll walk over to meet them, and get a couple of 100 calories under my belt in walking. Then maybe I can have that orange club biscuit later on, or that Tunnocks caramel, and a cup of tea.
We'll get on to that next week. I'm going to touch on to fitness. It's the lesser of me 3 subjects, but
No, but it's a logical progression, though, isn't it?
I learned a lot
in
terms of when I was working with Nathan about what works and what doesn't work in terms of fitness, and you're right in terms of walking is a fantastic exercise.
It's undervalued in. Like, it doesn't need to be doing bench presses and curls and going on the cross trainer and going spinning. It doesn't need to be anything other than put your shoes on and walk there instead of driving there, or just go for a walk around the car park. It can be as simple as that, because walking does. It doesn't take you that long to knock out 100 calories walking. Maybe. Half an hour? You go walking for half an hour and you could easily afford a cheeky biscuit.
Exactly.
Half an hour for a biscuit? Is that all right?
Well, or as you said, bank it, and we'll go to Greg's at the end of the week.
I've lost, 1.25 pounds. I can afford that quarter pound and knock it down to a pound if I just have that steak bake. Yes, I'll not burn all of that off, but I'm back at it. I'm back at it next week.
One of my sort of top tips: do not drink your calories. Do not drink your calories. This one's a game changer. Pepsi Max Mango. I love this. It's great. 0 calories.
This is the thing. I'm either Coke Zero or Pepsi Max.
Yeah.
Because You drink. I found either water or 0-calorie drinks left me feeling full for a bit. So then I didn't go and grab something from the vending machine at work. I would just pile in some tea, some water, or get a can of Coke Zero or something out of the machine, and I'd feel full till I got home, and then I made me tea.
Speaking of tea.
Yeah, it's that time. It's that time. But good one. And I think it was worth doing a longer episode on that than splitting it into two separate subjects. I think, especially this time of year, it's important, and I think we genuinely want to help people with this.
Yeah, it is.
Pay some of this knowledge forward. Pay some of it forward, and hopefully people can pick something up or see something in it that it doesn't have to look complicated, scary, or convoluted. It can just be as simple as just measure what you ate and be honest about it. And if you want, go for a walk around the block. And then you're gonna probably enjoy that biscuit a bit more, like I used to. So I will be covering my journey at some point when I get back on it, and I'll tell you about what I did and what I do. I'll be back on the MyFitnessPal app and whatnot. But so till next week, where we're getting into fitness, I might pick another topic. Although I quite like that these important ones have been longer, so we could maybe do that again next week, and then get back to the doublers after that.
Yeah.
But if you like what you heard, and you're on YouTube, give us a like and a subscribe. If you're elsewhere, give us a follow and a rating. And what you pointing at?
Loose gadgets.
Loose gadgets. Aye, give us a follow. Give us a follow. If you're on Apple, you can leave a rating. Still got 5 stars on there. There's only about 6 ratings on. It's all 5 stars though. Aye, one of them's me. One of them's me. I think one of them's Sarah as well. One of them's probably you.
Yeah.
But aye, still counts. It still counts. But until next week, take care.